I just finished watching Tiny Beautiful Things on Hulu, and I have to say, if you don't know where your life is going right now, or it's not where you thought it would be right now, or what you expected, you should watch Tiny Beautiful Things on Hulu. It stars Kathryn Hahn, who did some of the best acting I've seen in a long time. Chef's kiss, because the story was amazing. And Reese Witherspoon and Laura Dern, I saw you guys in the credits. It figures. It figures. And I especially have to say for Laura Dern, because that's a Nepo baby who Nepo's right. We love her. This story was like everything it needed to be right now. For anyone who needs a perspective shift or a personality shift, you should start here. So, Tiny Beautiful Things is about a woman named Clare Pierce whose life is pretty much falling apart. And she's in her middle age stage of life. And she considers herself in the beginning as this like failed writer because she had these big dreams and she got a book deal like 16 years ago. And her writing career just didn't end up being what she thought it would be. Her marriage was plummeting, and she was really in the throes of her grief with her mother. And she ends up becoming this anonymous advice columnist who changes people's lives through her writing, even the people that are around her and in her life, because they have no idea that it's her who's writing these articles. And so it really shows a center point a lot on Claire's grief with her mother who passed away unexpectedly. And that was really huge because the entire series, we're watching her reflect on some of the last things that she said and did with her mother. And she's seeing moments where she pops up as the child with her mom, and then she's seeing those moments as she's interacting with her own daughter. And I would say her relationship with her mom really, really, it shook me a lot. And her mom was such a pure soul, like too good for this world. Her mom had patience and grace and optimism that was like, it was just so pure and just unadulterated. It was like they didn't even have a bathroom inside, bro. They had a house that was like in the middle of the woods. I think they had like an outhouse, and her mother's perspective on everything was just so she showed so much grace and patience and love to her children. And watching the series made me think about my own life a lot. And it made me think about my own relationship with my mother deeply, and how I didn't always experience that kind of unconditional love and gentleness growing up. But it inspired me because it made me look at the kind of mother that I want to be for my children someday, if I do have them. And looking at how Claire lost her mother in a way that was so unexpected, and she was able to reflect on so many moments between them, it just made me think a lot about with my mom, even though I didn't get all the things that I wanted or needed growing up and even as an adult, it's made me see my mom as human still. It reminded me that our parents are human and that they're not here forever. And so I want to show my mom love and grace while also honoring my own experience, because my experience is important. And just because we love people, it doesn't negate the experience that we have with them, especially in a parent-child dynamic. Because something important that I learned and reflected on very recently is that even if you have the best intentions for your child, that doesn't always translate. And I say this for any and everyone, parents all across the board, whoever you are, wherever you are listening to this, that loving your children isn't enough, actually. Because loving people, let's actually broaden this topic not just to parent child. We can do it romantic love, partner to partner, human to pet, whatever whatever the dynamic is. Sometimes we love God's creatures so much, but our love isn't actually enough, because just because we want someone and we love them so much, it doesn't actually mean that we're good for them or that we've brought our best to them. Sometimes you can have the best of intention for someone and it's still not actually enough, or we still didn't show up in a way that was actually healthy enough, or conducive for that person, or for us to have a healthy dynamic that can like coexist in the same environment. And I would also add that one of the most powerful concepts in the limited series was this thing that Claire brought to one of the people that she was writing advice to in her column about a phantom life. When we make our decisions in life, we all have a phantom life. It's where we are in the throes of life. I'm going to keep using this term because it was like a central piece to the series. If you watch it, please watch it. But we all have a phantom life, which is basically when we make our choices, we all imagine the other lives or the other paths that we could have had. But once you choose a life, all the other lives that we have fictionalized in our brain fade to the background. They all go ghost. And the real question that we have to sit with ourselves is, can we build meaning in the life that we actually chose for ourselves? And I think with Instagram and all these other things that are floating around us constantly, we're always looking at something else we could have had, or that we want, or we wonder if it's too late. But I say that whatever the life is that we choose for ourselves, anchor yourself in that and make it beautiful. It doesn't matter what path you took. It doesn't matter if you had children unexpectedly and maybe that derailed your timeline for whatever your career or your dreams were. Whatever it is that you want to create for yourself, as long as you're still breathing, it's not too late. It's not. That's a testament that God's not done with you. And if you still have breath in your body, then you still have the bandwidth to create a testimony for your life that you can extend to other people. I would just say that watching Clare Pierce, the character, flourish as a writer, and it was such a slow burn, she didn't expect it. She was writing this advice column as something that she pushed away. She didn't even want to do it at first. And she didn't even think it was good at first. But the fact that she still kept publishing anonymously and she did it incognito because nobody knew, they never knew she was doing it. It held up a mirror for me because as a journalist, I've been scared. It's time for me. You're my witness to read myself for filth right now. I am guilty of waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until the video or the article looks perfect before I publish it. I literally covered an event 3 months ago that I'm probably going to post this before I even post the other thing, because I get paralyzed, especially with my ADHD, and I'm on the severe spectrum, believe it or not. Hashtag look into Black girls, because we tend to do it. Our symptoms show up very much so internally rather than externally. So we fly under the radar. But nonetheless, I've been waiting. I've been waiting to become a journalist when in fact, I am a journalist. And most of the battle is just showing up. Just show up and put one foot in front of the other and do the work. So from now on, I am just going to publish. I'm going to write. I'm going to post my stories. I'm going to post my content on TikTok and YouTube, even if I'm in pink pajamas, even if I'm not wearing makeup, and I'm in my cute pink silk hair bonnet. Yeah. And even in this moment, I look at Doechii too, someone I look at for inspo, because she started out like me, doing what I'm doing in her room, like this, and then the next thing we know, we look up and she's getting a Grammy. That was my first intro to Doechii, actually, was seeing her get a Grammy. I had no idea where she started, so yeah, that's where I'm at. My the biggest realization I got as far as where to next in life from this series is that just show up. Just show up as you are to do the work, because you can always get better. And done is much better than perfect. Oh, and last thing, I want to make sure I give everybody their credit, because this was such a brilliant, masterful work. Um, the series was created by Liz Tegelar. Hope I am pronouncing her name right. It's literally all the creative, like, badass baddies who have the hard to pronounce names. I'm one of them. I am one of them. Milan sounds easy because it's like the city in Italy, but when you see how I spell it, most people do mess it up. So I want to give the credit to Liz Tegelar, and the memoir, because this series was based on a memoir by Cheryl Strayed. So that was huge. I already mentioned that Kathryn Hahn was the main character in this beautiful body of work. And also we have Tanzine Crawford, who was her daughter, who starred as Ray. She liked being called Ray, but Claire actually named her Frankie after her mother. So yeah, it was huge. And just overall, this series, it just touched on grief, midlife crisis, and going after your dreams. I know that we hear this all the time, like a broken record after school Disney Channel special. Man, y'all remember when Disney Channel used to be good? But anyway, yeah, show up, show up, and go after the life that you want. And I know it can sound big and sometimes really overwhelming. I will say it again, hashtag ADHD, hashtag neurospicy, hashtag 50 tabs open in my brain right now. I get it. And I know what it feels like to be swallowed by all your aspirations, big and small alike, but you can do it. Hold on. Actually, this is perfect. I love props, just like one of my favorite motivational speakers, Terry Savelle Foy. I just got this shirt. I had to say it because you can do it. Put your back into it. Whatever it is, just do what I do. I have a notebook, and when I do stick to it, and when I'm on a good schedule with my Adderall, which I don't take every single day, I write down the things that I want to accomplish for the day. If I'm doing really well, I write down the things I want to accomplish for the week. And I take things in small steps. And also, if you get tired, like I do often, mentally fatigued more than physically, it's okay to take breaks. Take a nap. Have a little glass of wine. There's no shame in that. You don't have to earn rest. Take as many breaks as you need to, as long as you get back up and show up. The big thing is just keep showing up. And then lastly, because this series did touch so much on the theme of grief, I learned something very important this week, as I had to say goodbye to someone who was very dear to my heart. Not a partner. It's not romantic. It was not that kind of love. But I had to say goodbye to someone very dear to me, in my life. And although I knew the end date was coming, I couldn't prepare myself for it because there's no way to prepare ourselves for grief. That concept is called anticipatory grief. And I just wanted to say that it's important because I realized that give yourself the time and space to feel what you need to feel. Sometimes we are so quick to soothe ourselves or to try to soothe ourselves with something, and it's like, put the stuff down and let yourself feel. Journal it, write it if you need to, because that really helps me write it out. But allow yourself to feel everything and let it pass through, because grief is not something that you just get over or get through. It's a process that you will have to walk through. The only way out is going to be through, because pain demands to be felt. And when it rains, it pours. And when you get to the other side, it's so beautiful. And it reminds you why the entire process in its entirety was worth it.